1945, exploring new strategies to end World War II, the United States dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan, introducing a new warfare technology. This event gave the United States an edge in weaponry, sparked a decades-long arms race, rising tensions with Russia, and ushered in the Cold War.
When World War II began, the U.S. wasn't involved. On December 7, 1941, the U.S. was attacked by Japan at one of the United States naval bases, located in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. No one saw it coming. The next day, President Franklin Roosevelt made an announcement that we had no choice but to join the war. Once we joined the war, we immediately started looking for ways to end it.
On August 2, 1939, Albert Einstein, a leading physicist, wrote a letter to President Franklin Roosevelt asking for him to start development of the atomic bomb in the U.S. Einstein agreed to write this letter because, although he was against war and weaponry, he was very afraid of Germany creating the bomb first. He knew that Germany already started their own program to create the A-bomb, and that the U.S. needed to make the bomb first to protect itself. Soon after President Roosevelt received this letter, he made the Atomic Bomb Development Group, known today as the Manhattan Project. He had to keep it secret from the world so no other countries would know. He had to make sure they didn't have any spies working on the project.
A group of scientists that the U.S. had recruited worked on this very secret device until the spring of 1945. There were about 125,000 people involved, yet they found a way to keep it secret and surprise everyone. They also used signs of encouragement to keep this project secret. There were many isolated areas that they encountered to work on the atomic bomb project, including Los Alamos, New Mexico, Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Hanford, Washington, and many more.
People like J. Robert Oppenheimer, Leslie Groves, and many more leaders of the project would run these secret locations and were a big part of the project. They were some of the major leading scientists who were given a lot of credit for making the bombs. They were the brains of the project. Many scientists died of radiation when working on the project. Being a scientist was a lot more dangerous than you'd think.
When Franklin Roosevelt suddenly died of cerebral hemorrhage on April 12, 1945, Vice President Harry Truman immediately stepped in as president. The atomic bomb project was so secretive that he didn't even know about it. When the leaders of the Manhattan Project told him about it, he was shocked. Soon he had to make the decision whether to test the bomb or not. At 5:30 on July 16, 1945, Los Alamos scientists tested out the first atomic bomb in world history. This test took place in Granada del Muerto and was used to test an implosion-designed plutonium. This device was called the Gadget by many of the scientists. They knew that the bombs they had built did work and that they could destroy thousands of lives but also save millions. President Harry Truman had to make the decision to drop the bomb and where. He gave permission to drop the bomb in Japan.
Originally, the bomb was going to be made to attack Germany, but after Germany surrendered and Japan was the only Axis country standing, it was an obvious decision where to drop this deadly weapon. All my life, whenever it comes time to make a decision, I make it and forget about it. Harry S. Truman. The scientists had to wait and see what their bomb would do. Harry Truman had to go through a very hard time figuring out if he was making the right decision to drop the powerful weapon. According to Elaine Tyler May, a professor at the University of Minnesota, Truman never would regret this decision, no matter how much time he had to make it. He would have always kept his choice and thought he made the right decision to drop the bombs. The U.S. knew that they should target major cities, so they decided to drop the first bomb, Little Boy, on Hiroshima. An American B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay, took off from Tinian Island with a uranium atomic bomb nicknamed Little Boy. It weighed 9,000 pounds and had the power of 20,000 tons of explosives.
The city of Hiroshima was so still that morning. The Enola Gay dropped the atomic bomb at 8:15 a.m. on August 6, 1945. When it dropped, it cremated everything within a 2-mile range of where it dropped. It caused a big smoke cloud from when it was dropped, known as the mushroom cloud. People from all over the world were shocked.
But that wasn't all. President Truman requested the surrender of Japan, but they still refused. So the U.S. decided to drop another atomic bomb over Nagasaki. Yasuhiko Takita, a survivor of the little boy bomb, gave his account on the bomb.
A dazzling flash of light, brighter than even the sun, and then an ear-splitting roar, followed by an explosion that shattered glass everywhere. My forehead felt hot, and I unconsciously touched it with my hand. When I looked at the sky over Hiroshima, I saw a tiny glittering white object, about the size of a grain of rice, tinged with yellow and red, which soon grew to a monstrous fireball. It was traveling in my direction, and I felt as though it was going to envelop me. When the bombs were dropped, the world realized that the U.S. was in the lead for new technology. They were ahead of other countries in weaponry stance as well. This made the other countries competitive and want to be right up next to them in technology. Dropping of these bombs paved a way to other leading events.
Now I become death, the destroyer of all worlds. J. Robert Oppenheimer, known as the father of the atomic bomb. This bomb tore apart families and friendships. Many innocent people had to suffer.
Japan had the decision to either surrender or wait to see what happens next. They had lost a huge amount of people and knew what they had to do. After both bombs were dropped, Japan finally surrendered. On August 15th, Japan announced that they would surrender over a radio broadcast to the Allies. The treaty between Japan and the Allies was signed on September 2nd, 1945, aboard the U.S. naval battleship USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay.
It was recorded live to viewers around the world. Although many people were happy about the surrender of Japan, many of the scientists who ended the war by building the bomb ended up committing suicide after seeing the images of destruction that they have created. Yet many people had gone to Albert Einstein for his opinion. He would always tell them that he never made the bomb. He only sent a letter. Never did he lay his hands on the atomic bomb.
The bomb was a totally new type of war weapon that no one would have thought could be made. It was hard for anyone to believe that it could have happened in that time period. Many Japanese drawings show the pain and misery of the bomb.
Even though the bomb ended a war, it also started a war. The war was with the Soviet Union, known today as Russia. Not the type of war with hand-to-hand combats, but a Cold War. Historians don't fully agree on the dates, but the most common dates are 1947 to 1991. It started a race to keep up with the technology of another country, mainly nuclear power.
After the U.S. dropped the two bombs, the Soviet Union wanted to have the same technology. Even though the U.S. and the Soviet Union were on the same side for World War II, they still wanted to be on the same level as the U.S. The Soviet Union started building their own weapons. Soon enough, the United States found out about them building weapons and didn't want to get behind, so they started building their own weapons.
This back-and-forth race went on for 48 years. Finally, both countries had too many weapons in storage that weren't being used for any good. Even though the Cold War has ended, it left us with a lot of stuff.
The USA built somewhere around 70,000 nuclear warheads since 1945. Soviet Union had about 5,200, but today the United States has 9,600 ready to use on command. Another weapon the Cold War left us with is the U-2 spy plane, which was built in 1955.
There is much more that was made in the suspected time period that has been caused by the dropping of the two bombs. Even though some people believe nuclear energy could be the end to human race, it also does a lot of good to keep the world going, including nuclear power plants and radiation medicine.
The Cold War didn't do much good and only left us with weapons that we might never use. It caused more terror of a nuclear attack and was scary knowing the power that each country had with their weapons. This was all because of the atomic bomb.
Although the atomic bomb has had both negative and positive impacts, it was overall a good strategy because it explored a way to give the USA an edge in weaponry. It helped the USA end World War II with less American deaths than fighting longer to end the war.
The atomic bomb led to the Cold War, which gave the U.S. a lead in weapons available. Even though it seems that the bomb did a lot of good things, it also did a lot of devastating and scary things too. The atomic bomb started a 44-year war that scared many people around the world.